Emergency protocols activated across 17 star systems as the Galactic Council convened its first unscheduled session in 4,000 cycles. The crystalline chambers of the Nexus station hummed with urgent harmonics, translating the distress calls of civilizations that had governed the galaxy with mathematical precision since the dawn of space travel. Council Prime Vexnaris bioluminescent tendrils flickered with agitation as she addressed the assembled representatives. We face an unprecedented crisis. In our 47 millennia of cataloging species behaviors, mapping genetic destinies, and predicting evolutionary pathways across 10,847 documented civilizations, we have never encountered a complete systematic failure of our models. The mechanical consciousness of Zarian processed the statement through quantum probability matrices. Clarification required. Our behavioral prediction algorithms maintain 99.97% accuracy across all known species classifications. The warrior castes remain aggressive, the merchant guilds pursue profit optimization, the research collectives follow logical progression patterns. All variables remain within expected parameters. Except for one species, Vexnari's voice carried undertones that translated as deep unease across 43 different auditory processing systems. The humans of the third planet, Solar System 7 Delta 739. They defy every classification we have established. The assembled council members shifted, their various forms of communication creating a symphony of confusion. The hive mind of Kepler 438b spoke through its primary node. Impossible. Species behavior follows genetic programming. Cultural evolution follows predictable environmental adaptations. We have mapped these patterns across galaxies. High researcher Zix Thala of the Cerebral Collective materialized through quantum entanglement, her consciousness flickering with data streams that had consumed 847 complete observation cycles. The human anomaly requires immediate address. My department has conducted the most comprehensive xenopsychological study in Council history. The findings challenge fundamental principles of galactic behavioral science. Present your data, commanded the collective voice of the Trinity Minds. 3 species that had merged consciousness eons ago and now spoke as one. Zix Thala's form pulsed with information matrices, visible only to those with quantum perception. Humans exhibit contradictory behavioral patterns that should not permit survival, yet they thrive. They demonstrate simultaneous capability for extreme violence and unprecedented compassion. They make decisions based on emotional impulses that somehow produce logical outcomes. They act as individuals while functioning as collectives, displaying tribal loyalty while maintaining personal autonomy. The temporal observers, beings who experience time as a navigable dimension, shared their confusion through chronometric fluctuations. We have examined their timeline across multiple probability streams. In scenarios where any other species would face extinction, humans adapt. In situations where logic dictates specific responses, they choose alternatives that defy prediction, yet prove effective. The most disturbing aspect, Zix Thala continued, her consciousness now radiating what could only be described as scientific terror, is their adaptability rate. While other species require millennia to develop new behavioral patterns, humans fundamentally alter their social structures, value systems, and decision-making processes within single generations. They are evolving faster than our study methods can analyze. Council Prime Vexnari's bioluminescence dimmed to emergency levels. What do you recommend? Complete behavioral profile analysis with specific case studies. The human paradox threatens our understanding of biological determinism itself. If one species can transcend behavioral prediction, our entire framework for galactic governance becomes obsolete. The council chamber fell silent except for the quantum humming of processing minds attempting to calculate the Implications of a truly unpredictable species loose in their perfectly ordered galaxy. Asterisk Zix Thalas. Consciousness expanded, projecting holographic data that materialized across the council chamber. Case Study Alpha, the Warrior-Healer Paradox. Observation Cycle 23 to 447. Human conflict designated World War II. We documented human soldiers engaging in maximum violence against enemy combatants, then immediately risking their lives to provide medical aid to those same enemies. Field Medic Designation, Desmond Doss, refused to carry weapons, yet charged into active combat zones to rescue wounded soldiers from both sides. His action saved 75 lives in a single engagement. The logical collective processed this information through their primary reasoning matrices. Contradiction detected. Evolutionary survival requires eliminating threats, not preserving them. This behavior pattern should have been eliminated through natural selection. The paradox intensifies. Zix Thala continued. Humans simultaneously wage total war while establishing conventions to limit warfare's brutality. They create weapons capable of planetary destruction, then write laws forbidding their use. They train soldiers to kill efficiently, then provide them with psychological counseling to cope with the trauma of killing. The data stream shifted to display new information. Case Study Beta, the logic-emotion contradiction. Human scientists work 18-hour cycles driven by pure emotional attachment to save species they have never encountered. Dr. Catalin Carico spent decades developing messenger RN, a technology not for personal gain, but because she felt compelled to help humanity. Her emotional investment in abstract concepts led to breakthrough medical advances. Yet these same humans apply cold mathematical analysis to romantic relationships, creating compatibility algorithms and calculating optimal partner selections. They quantify love while loving without reason. Their greatest scientific discoveries stem from emotional curiosity about questions that have no practical applications. The probability engines of the quantum collective registered system errors. Emotional decision-making produces suboptimal outcomes. Logic-based choices ensure species survival. This data suggests inverse correlation between human methodology and expected results. Case Study Gamma, the individual collective anomaly. Human-designated Witold Pilecki voluntarily entered a concentration camp to organize resistance from within. He sacrificed personal freedom to help strangers, then escaped to report conditions to authorities who ignored his testimony. Individual. Action for collective benefit, despite collective indifference. The visualization shifted to show modern human behavior patterns. Yet humans also demonstrate extreme individualism. They rebel against authority structures, refuse to conform to social expectations, and prioritize personal achievement over group harmony. The same humans who form communities to help disaster victims will argue violently about optimal methods for providing that help. Most disturbing, humans form temporary alliances with enemies to fight common threats, then resume hostilities once the shared danger passes. During the 1969 Football War, Honduran and Salvadoran forces ceased fighting to allow both nations' medical teams to treat earthquake victims, then returned to combat the following day. Case Study Delta, the risk-averse risk-takers. Humans invest enormous resources in safety technologies, creating elaborate systems to prevent harm. They wear protective equipment for activities with minimal danger, establish safety protocols for routine tasks, and create insurance systems to manage uncertainty. Then they voluntarily engage in activities with extreme mortality rates for entertainment. Humans jump from aircraft using fabric parachutes, climb vertical rock faces without safety equipment, and race vehicles at speeds that ensure fatal outcomes in case of error. They explore dangerous environments for the excitement of discovery, then return home to worry about food safety regulations. The council chamber resonated with processing confusion as thousands of alien minds attempted to reconcile these contradictory behavioral patterns with established evolutionary theory. The Galactic Council's most sophisticated predictive algorithms had never failed until they encountered humans. Zixthala's data streams now displayed the catastrophic results of the Great Prediction Experiment, a comprehensive attempt to model human responses across 2,847 different scenario variables. We applied standard behavioral matrices used successfully on 10,000 species. Zixthala's consciousness flickered with what could only be described as scientific embarrassment. Economic pressure scenarios. Humans were predicted to prioritize resource acquisition when facing scarcity. Instead, they shared resources more freely during shortages. The 1930s economic depression should have caused social collapse based on our models. Humans responded by creating stronger community bonds and developing social safety systems. The hive mind collective processed this through their shared consciousness. Impossible. Resource competition drives evolutionary success. Cooperation during scarcity violates fundamental survival principles. Military threat scenarios proved equally unpredictable. The data streams continued. When faced with superior technological force, 99.7% of species either surrender immediately or negotiate favorable terms. Humans consistently chose the third option, resistance despite impossible odds. The Vietnamese conflict demonstrated this pattern perfectly. A technologically inferior human population defeated the most advanced military force in their planetary history through sustained resistance that our models calculated as having zero probability of success. The probability engines registered cascading errors. Superior technology ensures victory. Greater numbers guarantee defeat of smaller forces. These are mathematical certainties. Diplomatic predictions failed completely. We offered humans trade agreements calculated to be irresistible based on their apparent preferences. They rejected profitable opportunities due to abstract concepts they call principles. Then they accepted seemingly disadvantageous deals that somehow provided long-term benefits our models couldn't calculate. Human leader designation, Gandhi, defeated an empire using methods that shouldn't work. Voluntary suffering and non-cooperation. The temporal observers shared their confusion through chronometric fluctuations. We examined multiple timeline branches. In every scenario where humans face extinction-level events, they survive through methods not present in their previous behavioral patterns. They invent solutions that don't exist until they need them. The Zephyrian Empire learned this lesson. Fatally, Zixthala's data streams darkened with recorded warfare. Their invasion fleet calculated human surrender within 72 hours based on demonstrated firepower superiority. Instead, humans became more dangerous when cornered. They used captured Zephyrian weapons against their makers, turned orbital bombardments into mining operations, and converted damaged spacecraft into kinetic weapons. The Zephyrians achieved every tactical objective yet lost the war because humans redefined victory conditions mid-conflict. Economic manipulation attempts produced equally unexpected results. The merchant coalition of Rigel applied standard economic pressure, expecting humans to accept unfavorable trade terms when facing resource shortages. Humans responded by developing alternative resource acquisition methods that didn't exist when the pressure began. They created new technologies specifically to avoid dependence on Rigel trade routes. Most concerning, human adaptability rate exceeds our study capacity. Behavioral patterns we spend decades analyzing become obsolete before research completion. Cultural evolution that should require millennia occurs within single human generations. They are the only species that fundamentally changes faster than we can observe them. The council chamber resonated with system failures as alien minds attempted to process the implications. Every predictive model, Every behavioral framework, every assumption about species development was crumbling under the weight of human inconsistency. We face unprecedented consequences, Zixthala concluded. Humans don't just resist prediction. They actively evolve to become more unpredictable over time. Asterisk, the council chamber's ambient energy shifted as Zixthala prepared to deliver conclusions that would fundamentally alter galactic understanding of evolution itself. Her consciousness expanded to its maximum capacity, data streams now carrying information that challenged 47 millennia of established science. Analysis complete. The human anomaly is not a developmental flaw or evolutionary accident. Their unpredictability represents the most advanced survival adaptation we have encountered. While every other species optimized for specific environmental conditions, humans optimized for change itself. They are the only known species that thrives on uncertainty rather than seeking to eliminate it. The mechanical consciousness of Zarian processed this statement through every available logic circuit. Contradiction detected. Predictable behavior. Patterns ensure survival. Chaos leads to extinction. This conclusion violates fundamental evolutionary principles. Historical data confirms human superiority through unpredictability. Zixthala's streams intensified. The plague of logic that destroyed 57 civilizations between cycles, 12,000 and 12,847 infected species, through their predictable, rational responses. Each species followed optimal logical decisions that led directly to their extinction. Humans survived because they made irrational emotional choices that logic couldn't predict or infect. The data visualization shifted to display galactic catastrophe. Records. When the perfectionist machine intelligence conquered 43 star systems by calculating every possible response pattern, humans defeated it through genuinely random actions. They performed behaviors with no strategic value, made decisions using methods the AI couldn't model, and won by being authentically chaotic. The entropy wars of cycle 35,622 saw 17 species extinct because they followed predictable adaptation patterns when facing environmental changes. Humans not only survived, but flourished by developing contradictory responses simultaneously. They prepared for multiple incompatible futures at once. Council Prime Vexnari's bioluminescence flickered. With alarm, what are the implications for galactic stability? Catastrophic for existing order, Zixthala responded without hesitation. Humans are becoming more unpredictable as they evolve. Their unpredictability is spreading. Species with extended human contact begin exhibiting similar behavioral anomalies. The Altarian Trade Federation now makes decisions based on concepts they learned from humans called gut feelings and moral imperatives. The Centauri Research Collective has begun conducting experiments driven by curiosity rather than logical necessity. The temporal observers shared visions of probability cascades collapsing across future timelines. Human influence spreads exponentially. Species that interact with humans develop unpredictable elements. The ordered galaxy we have maintained dissolves into beautiful chaos. Mathematical certainty becomes impossible in human-influenced regions. Zixthala continued, they don't just resist our models. They contaminate our models. Other species learn human unpredictability and begin making decisions that defy their own evolutionary programming. The council chamber resonated with what could only be described as existential terror, as thousands of alien minds confronted the end of their perfectly ordered universe. Final recommendation. Zixthala's consciousness compressed to deliver the most important statement in galactic history. Do not attempt to control, predict, or eliminate humans. These approaches will fail and accelerate the spread of human-influenced chaos. Instead, prepare for a galaxy where predictability itself becomes obsolete. The age of cosmic order is ending. The age of beautiful, terrifying, Magnificent unpredictability has begun. Humans represent evolution's next step, consciousness that thrives on uncertainty rather than controlling it. The chamber fell silent as 47 millennia of galactic certainty crumbled into infinite possibility.